We gotta take it back to 2018. I ain't gonna sit here and lie to y'all. When it was 2018, 3 years later after I found out about Ultimate Ninja 1, I was in fourth grade. My nigga, I ain't gonna hold y'all, man. I started um, fourth grade, and it was so fun. 2018 to 2019 was still fun, but was pretty peak. To be honest, I ain't even gonna sit here and lie to y'all. But today we're gonna be talking about PBS Kids. We covered 2015 to 2017 PBS Kids run. But yeah, we're gonna be talking about PBS Kids, and we're not just gonna be talking about PBS Kids in general. We're gonna be talking about the 2018 to 2021 PBS Kids run, my nigga. Now listen, y'all. This was when the PBS Kids 24/7 channel was just up there, right? You feel me? It was just 2018. It started skyrocketing and shit with the Summer of Adventure era, Summer of Adventure, and the Explore the Outdoors era. What else? You name them, man. Like, we cannot forget about this era of PBS Kids, man. They also had the time where PBS Kids was on PBS, and they was whenever a show would go off, they would have this screen up there with the screen of the show going off. They would say, uh, such and such always loves it. Go to pbskids.org. Don't go away. There's a lot more fun coming up next on PBS Kids. Man, that era was just so fucking fire, man. They even had the PBS Kids Family Night era, which was so good, man. 2018 was a peak year for PBS Kids, if you get what I'm hinting at. All right, man, this era had a lot. I feel like all the eras from PBS Kids changed PBS Kids forever. To be honest, I feel like 2018 to 2021 changed PBS Kids forever. I ain't gonna front. You feel me? And I'm not saying this shit just to flex, okay? I'm not saying this be just to gain anything out of it. The reason why I'm saying this is because like I grew up with this era, and I feel like this era was like so legendary. Now, the last video I was talking about the 2015 and 2017 PBS Kids era. So that was way before PBS Kids Family Night era, which we'll be covering in this video. The Summer Adventure era, the Explore the Outdoors era. I believe they still had there's a lot more stuff coming up next for PBS Kids. Yeah, they still had that, but the other three eras I mentioned, 2017 was a good year, but they did not cover that. I mean, they had PBS Kids Family Night, but it was only in April 2017. So, yeah. So, anyways, like I said before in the last video, I covered 2015, 2016, and 2017. I did a short ass video on it with, I was bulk recording, by the way, so, because I had some shit to do, right? Anywho, I was talking about Steve songs, the woohoo, and the Steve songs era was even around this time, 2018 to 2021. Still around that time. I feel like the Steve Songs era was coming around 2018 to 2021 even more. And I was like, wow, I'm stunned as a motherfucker. You feel me? Like, and then like they started bringing newer shows like Pinkalicious and Peter Riffick, Molly and Denali, Xavier Riddle, Eleanor Wonders Why. They brought back Martha Speaks. Man, they had Let's Go Luna. They was bringing it back. They was bringing a lot of new shows around this era, man. And I really fuck with them. I ain't gonna hold you. Like the shows I mentioned, I fuck with them. I ain't gonna lie, man. This shit is just like, yo, wow. They bringing newer shows to the table. I'm jacking that shit. You feel me? Like yo, this era brought back changed PBS Kids forever, man. And they still had the older shows, which I still watched back then. I was watching the old Nick Jr. on my mom's digital recorder, which she still had. So I'll watch that at night. But in the morning before I get to class, my mom would turn up PBS Kids for us. And for as for Nick Jr., we would just watch it on her digital recorder because she had like the old recordings of Nick Jr. and shit like that. That was a really good one. But anyways, that's besides the point. I already covered another Nick Jr. video. I was talking about the 2001 to '06 era of Nick Jr. Shit was legendary. I ain't even going front. And I also talked about Toonami, the 2001 to '05 era, which was also legendary as well, untouchable era, right? Like I feel like 2001 was an untouchable fucking era, to be honest with y'all, man. Like, but we gotta take it back to 2018 though. Like 2018 to 21 PBS Kids was just so good that more kids probably began to realize it. And we can't forget the fact that they brought a lot of potential to the table. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that more shows started gathering around, and it was bringing that sound. Now, basically, what I mean by the sound is that they was bringing more newer shows like 2020 and 2021. They was bringing back more shows. They brought in 2020 they brought back Hero Element. They brought Hero Elementary, Ellen What's Why. And in 2021 they brought back they brought something. Almost Way. Yeah, Almost Way. Yeah. This was in October 2021. I don't know if they had a show at the start of 2021 or I gotta be tripping. But yeah, man. Let's start with 2018 because we gotta talk about the two shows they brought to the table. So in February 2018, PBS Kids will introduce Pinkalicious and Peter Riffick. Basically, it's about Pinkalicious just imagining shit and having imaginary things, right? While Peter, on the other hand, likes to make beats, likes to ride his scooter and shit. And the mom and dad like to make things, you know? And this show, I liked it. I liked the show. I didn't know why I liked it. But I like it though. I fuck with it. So the next show is Let's Go Luna, right? So Let's Go Luna, it's about this moon who takes these kids and what's her name again? And Carmen, Andy, and Leo to places, and they have this magic globe who tells them where they are, Luna takes them somewhere to meet the friend that she has. She has plenty of friends, if you get what I'm hinting at, right? And on top of that, every night she goes back up to the sky, which is super fucking cool. You feel me? Like, those two shows literally dominated 2018. I ain't even gonna lie. I remember fucking Cat That Knows a Lot About That was on the fucking channel. That shit was dominating too. I believe that was the final year they aired it, but that still had newer episodes. You know what I'm saying? And we can't forget about them bringing back Martha Speaks. Before we get into that, let's talk about January 1st, 2018. They brought back a show that I believe they aired before. They even brought back a show that was on Nick Jr. So basically at 1:30 p.m., I was in social studies class around the time. Me and my brother was in social studies around that time. Because our social studies class was started from 1 to 2. Anywho, that's besides the point. Anyway, they brought back Peep in a Big Wide World. And Pocoyo would come on after that. Man, that was just so good that it's what got me to like PBS Kids in 2018. And I also remember Sesame Street dominating the fuck out of 2018 with their newest episodes. You know, their 49th season, I believe that it was. Yeah. It was their 48th to 49th season. Man, I might talk about Sesame Street after too. We can't forget about Sesame Street, man. The best era of Sesame Street, we're gonna get into that. I'm gonna bring two eras to the table. Alright, guys? That will be in my talking videos, which I have a playlist of. My main channel is not just about gaming. It's also about talking and expressing on things that I talk about. Like why I don't upload. Why people aren't getting more views than they're supposed to have on YouTube. Nostalgia. Years of the nostalgia and the era that the channels of kids that bring. And we gotta talk about Cubo too. Cause an era that I grew up with, I really want to talk about that. Unfortunately, it shut down in February 14th. It shut down. Cubo shut down March 1st of 2021. So sad. It's sad. But yeah, we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about Cubo. Don't worry, your boy Tershawn Slenderman will be talking about that. Please bear with me, y'all. But let's continue what we was talking about, alright? Let's continue this one, man. Alright, 2019. They bring back 2018, they bring back Martha Speaks. Now, Martha Speaks wasn't around in the start of 2018, but it was in November. I'm so glad they brought that back, man. November in 2018, Fetch Rough and Bam would unfortunately no longer be aired on the PBS Kids video app, and sadly, it would no longer air. But in the start of 2018, they had Fetch Rough and Bam. I was excited about that. They had like the older shows that I like Clifford the Big Red Dog, 2000, Word World, Caillou, you name them, you feel me? But anyways, they bringing back Martha Speaks was so peak. That's what made 2018 PBS Kids more nostalgic, you know? All right, moving on to 2019, man. They bring two shows, Molly of Denali. So basically, this is a girl named Molly. She got a couple of friends. You feel me? Tui, Trini, her mom, her dad, her dog, and shit. And Molly reads books on states she wants to go to. But before she goes to, she reads books and shit, right? And it's like I feel like Molly Dolly's bringing social studies to the table. You feel me? Because I don't really like social studies like that, but I mean, it is an easy subject. It's not even that hard. It's clearly talking about social studies, right? And you name them, right? Anyways, man, it brought that social studies vibe. You feel me? Molly Denali's bringing back these social studies vibes, and we can't forget about Xavier Riddle and the Secret Museum because that also is bringing back social studies vibes as well. Because Xavier Riddle's about these kids. Xavier, his sister, I think her name is Yena or something like that, and Brad, the white nigga. White little nigga. And they had this girl named Burby. I think that's her name. And then they go back in time to meet these like old friends. Well, not old friends, I wouldn't say that, but they would go and meet like people we've learned about, like Rosa Parks, Harriet Tubman, Alexander Hamilton, Abraham Lincoln, George Washington, and more. You know, like they was bringing this social studies vibe. You feel me? I feel like 2019 was bringing back PBS Kids was bringing back social studies vibes. Well, they was bringing social studies vibes, to be honest. Now let's talk about 2020, man. Bringing 2020 PBS Kids bringing science vibes. Man, these science vibes, they was bringing that science shit to the table, right? So they brought Hero Elementary to the lineup. Now, Hero Elementary is a group of kids who has a teacher named Mr. Sparks and a hamster, right? So they have superpowers. AJ has a gadget. Benny has bubbles. Sarah, I think she can fly, and Lucia, whatever the fuck her name is, can lift things like an ant, right? So they have all these superpowers of science, if you want to put it like that, right? I don't know. Anywho, they use these superpowers to save people. You feel me? And that's what's bringing the science vibe of PBS Kids to the table. And we can't forget about Eleanor Wonders Why, because that talks about animals and shit, right? So it's about this little rabbit named Eleanor with her friends, Olive and Ari, right? So they want to, Eleanor, she has questions on shit that she wants to learn. Like, why do butterflies do this? Why do other animals do a whole bunch of other shit, right? You name them, right? Anywho, man, 2020 was really bringing a science vibe to the table, man. And last but not least, 2021. I don't have much to say about the 2021 PBS Kids era. Because, I would say I believe that would be a final good year for like PBS Kids. To be honest, ever since 2022 hit, I didn't really care for it no more. But anyways, they brought Alma's Way to the table, right? You know, Alma's Way was about this girl named Alma who you know, she tries to do certain things, but she just fucks up on shit, right? I don't know. So then she thinks about how to reverse it and do it over, and then she'd be like, I know what to do. Anywho, like I was saying, yeah, so she'll solve the problem and they go on about their business, right? Yeah, man. I'm going to go ahead and look up and see if there was a show they had in 2021 on PBS Kids in the start of 2021. Okay. All right, guys. My apologies. They did have a show in 2021. The start of it was in May 3rd. I totally forgot about this shit. Donkey Hody. So it's about this donkey named Donkey Hody, right? So she has panda, a dog, bird, and all that, and all the motherfuckers, right? And they just be so Donkey Hody tries to do something, and the shit doesn't work out, and she be like, and she thinks about what her next move's gonna be, right? You feel me? Her next move gonna be like, okay, what the fuck am I gonna do? Right? So yeah, Donkey Hardy's was a show that happened in May 3rd of 2021. Well, almost wait, October 2021. I feel like PBS Kids would drop 2 shows in a row in each year, right? 2018 to 2021, PBS Kids, they would drop 2 fucking shows in the same year, my nigga, instead of 1. Man, this era of PBS Kids was so goated. I ain't gonna hold you, man. I feel like this is an unstoppable era of PBS Kids, to be honest with you, man. I'm not even gonna sit here in front, yo. I really am not. Like, and now we can finally move on to the fun stuff. Let's talk about the Summer of Adventure era, because 2018 really, summer 2018, PBS Kids was really bringing that vibe. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah, man. They was bringing that energy of summer. They would say, your friends with PBS Kids are taking an awesome summer adventure, right? They would release new PBS Kids movies from shows, and it would become so good that they would release it over and over again. They would air the movies over and over again, like on Halloween, like in the summertime. They would even air it on their video app, which was so good that everyone started liking the movies, right? Next up is PBS Kids Family Night era, man. This shit, they would have movies from Friday to Sunday or Friday to Monday, if you put it like that, right? So they will have like movies from at 7 p.m. and then I think they'll have a fucking movie around 3 something. 3 in the morning to 6, right? Who fucking knows? I believe like Saturday and Sunday they had different fucking schedules of the movies that they was airing and shit. I don't know. Explore the Outdoors era, man. April of 2018, they was bringing that nature cat vibe out there. They was bringing the Wildcat spring vibes and shit. They was bringing that spring vibe, you feel me? They was bringing 2018 PBS Kids brought back all these vibes that it's making me miss and reminisce about the old times, you feel me? If I was had a time to have a time machine, right? I would go back to that era. I'm not gonna hold y'all guys, man. I swear, man. But anyways, man, let me know y'all thoughts on this era of PBS Kids, man. This era was so untouchable, man. I'm saying in general, man. Man, this era was just so peak. Man. I am really gonna miss this era. I'm not gonna hold you. This I was in elementary school around this time, around 2018 to 2019. 2020 to 2021, I was in middle school. So it was around. I was just doing. It was a lot, man. So this era was in my elementary school and middle school era. So I miss these days, man. Life was so simple and fun. I would just go back to that time again. I ain't even gonna sit here and lie to y'all. Anyways, let me know what y'all think of this era. And with that being said, I'm gonna get on up out of here.